Top of the morning, afternoon, and evenings, ladies and gentlemen. We're excited to share the knowledge and resources we've been working so hard to create. To help us expand our reach and contribute delivering to valuable content, we need a small favor. We recently launched our YouTube channel to connect with our support even more professionals. If you could take a moment and click open an app, should be right above somewhere there, button, and view the video directly in YouTube, it would significantly boost our visibility and impact. Also, please help us grow a community by subscribing to our channel from YouTube and liking our videos, obviously, if you like what you see. Also, if you click the bell notification, you will learn about new and useful videos that we put on YouTube automatically. Your support means a lot to us. Thank you for helping us grow. Now, with that being said, let's dive into the video. Now that we have completed with the 6 primary sections of the private sector resume, let's take out 2 extra optional private sector resume sections. You don't have to do them. You don't have to have them. But I can tell you with absolute certainty that whenever a lot of people apply for the same position, to anything you can do to make yourself stand out will go a very long way. And it adds a very good extra value to your resume that when hiring manager looks and sees someone else very close to you in specialization, skills, and experience, that may be just enough to make them choose your resume over the contenders. So with that said, let's take a look at it. Let's take a look at our first optional private sector resume section called Additional Qualifications. It is a list of additional qualifications that may make you stand out from your competition. See, added value that I was talking about before. So let's take a look at number 1 here. What to include? Well, this is the part that is hardest for people to come up with, but if you think about it, just let your mind churn for a moment. They may come up with some interesting things. I'll give you some examples. List the achievements that make you stand out from the competition. For example, any publications that you may have done previously. Projects that show your initiative. For example, it is related to work. My boss asked me to do this, and then I came up with this idea and it blossomed into something really interesting and good. Sure, put that in. Volunteer experience, if you had any. Additional languages spoken. This would be actually very useful. And so on, so on, so on. For example, I have written a book previously, and I put that a link to that book on Amazon, and people actually like that. That's what makes you stand out from your competition. I don't know why I picked, by the way, that picture. That guy looks very smiley and creepy, but I liked a lot of extra stuff around it. Just pointing it out there. All right, anything listed in this section should answer the question, how will it benefit your employer and what they stand to gain from it? For example, underwater basket weaving may not be related to what you are being asked about in here, so don't put it in. If you're doing gardening and gardening has nothing to do with what they're asking, don't put that in. So only whatever you think is relevant to what they're asking and how they will benefit the organization, the company, how they will benefit from this particular experience that you have. And resources such as documents or websites should be presented as hyperlinks. They will be able to click on it and go and check them out if they would like to do that. Moving right along. The final optional section that I'd like to mention is a clearance section. Some of us will be applying for the jobs which do require clearance, and this is specifically for you. It is a list of active and previous clearances for the jobs that require them. So there are 2 points to discuss in here, but they're very important. So you will list all of your active and previous clearances, for example, top secret with a polygraph, or secret, or public trust. I also list in there the year when I originally got it, to wherever it lasts. And let's talk about to wherever it lasts or lasted. So people have been asking me if they should put a clearances in there which have already expired. I've researched the subject and found that if the clearance is more than 2 years old after its expiration, it may be required to get it all the way from the beginning. But your information may still be in their system, right? Whenever you were getting original clearance. So getting a new clearance may be quicker because you're already established in their system, and that's what's so good about it. And plus, it obviously shows your trustworthiness that you have previously got the clearance and you can get it again. I've seen people being granted the jobs contingent upon them getting a clearance. For example, they've locked you in and they've made you an offer, but an offer is written that is contingent upon the clearance, and you go through clearance, hopefully quickly, and then you can start your work. So this is something that you should list as a separate section called clearances if you have or had them or both. Ladies and gentlemen, we have gathered a list of very useful resources that we strongly suggest you use to your advantage when you're building your resume. First of all, let's talk about the resume template, which is at the top. When you are building a private sector resume, especially from scratch, if you've never had one before, it can be a very daunting experience. That's why what we've done is we have created a completely free template that will allow you to simply paste your information inside of it and then use it as you see fit. Let me give you an example of how that looks like. So here is the template. It is built on my resume the way I created it, but as I said, feel free to adjust it as you see fit. Just save it to your computer and work from there. And you will have not only the specific sections listed in here, but I have also put a comments which describe what you should put in the sections as do's and don'ts. And they are very, very useful. At least I think they're very, very useful. So feel free to use it to your advantage. I will also post additional links in the posts and the LinkedIn and stuff like that, so you will be able to get to that a little bit easier. The second resource that I wanted to point out is our YouTube channel. We have created a YouTube channel called DS Academy. And inside of there, we are starting to paste all of our videos that we are creating, and it's going to be much more than that. So I strongly encourage you to come over here and subscribe for the channel. Like the videos if you like what you actually see, to help us grow. So we're getting there little by little, and we'll be very popular and will help a lot of people in the future. The third link that I wanted to mention is the LinkedIn post shown about replacing the government terminology with the private sector terminology. This gentleman did a fantastic job describing this, so you will feel free to peruse it and check it out and see how you like it. And finally, I would like to mention and kind of open slightly the doors to something that we're going to be exploring much more. And this is artificial intelligence. That's something that scares and interests people at the same time. The one I'm about to mention is ChatGPT. We're going to build a whole course in the future on how the AI is going to help you get a job on the different stages of getting it, from looking for the job to creating resumes to applying for the jobs and finally going and preparing and going through the interviews. This is something I would encourage you to check out. You don't have to log in right away. See, I'm not even logged in, and you could just ask different things and you might be surprised as what you'll see. I was very, very surprised and how good it was at doing many different things. You may be concerned, obviously, here with it will remember information about me. There is a possibility of that, so don't share any personal information with it. But in nowadays, that's essentially the name of the game. So with that said, I'm moving right along. Ladies and gentlemen, at the end of our Power Hour, I would like to spend a couple of moments to tell you about our future plans and what we're planning to come up with. Number one is upcoming workshops. So we're planning to create some additional power hours or workshops. We'll have to see, depending on the demand, regarding preparing for the interview and how to properly prepare for the interview, and using AI to aid your job search. This is something I mentioned in a previous video, but it is going to be a very, very useful course that will help you understand how you can shave off a lot of time and energy and make it much more painless, I guess you could say that, and going through the getting a new job process when artificial intelligence is helping you, particularly ChatGPT. Then we're going to have a private consultation. So if you are interested in speaking with me one-on-one or maybe in a small groups where we can sit together and help with your resume or prepare to ace for the interview, please let me know. Write me a line on a LinkedIn, send a comment, send me an email, which is going to be on the next slide. And we will arrange something so we can sit together and do something to help you out. Number three is review and share workshop recordings on our YouTube channel. So once again, as what I mentioned before, we do have a YouTube channel. We are trying to grow it as fast as possible, and we're putting videos there on a weekly basis. So please come in there, subscribe, and learn new stuff that keep coming out.